2,200 years ago, a military machine so powerful it seemed invincible faced an equally mighty army, and a single fatal flaw brought it crashing down. Yes, I'm talking about the might of Rome and how it suffered one of the worst defeats in military history during the infamous Battle of Cannae. Hi, my name is Sebastian, and you're watching Mistakes That Changed the World. Rome's catastrophic defeat at Cannae in 216 BC isn't just a tale of poor generalship, it was the bitter fruit of a command system as old as the Greek city-states. You see, to wage war effectively, you need a single decisive mind at the helm, a dictator as the Greeks called it. But as you might guess, this absolute authority is a double-edged sword, as Rome would soon discover. The Greeks quickly learned that handing over the keys to the kingdom to a single individual was a risky gamble. Once a dictator tasted the intoxicating power of controlling the army, navy, treasury, and administration, giving it up voluntarily was a rare occurrence. Removing such a figurehead was often a perilous undertaking, fraught with danger and uncertainty. It was a political tightrope, and in order to avoid it, Rome was about to stumble spectacularly. To prevent a power-hungry dictator from seizing control, the Romans devised a seemingly clever solution: two consuls equal in authority. It was a political chess game, a check and balance system designed to neutralize ambition. When these co-leaders were apart, commanding separate legions, the plan worked like a charm. But the fatal flaw became apparent when Rome's entire army was united under a single command. What followed was a colossal blunder that would echo through history. You see, two minds can't command the same army without chaos. But Rome was still terrified of a single all-powerful general. The Senate was walking on edges. They couldn't risk a victorious consul marching on Rome and seizing control. But they also couldn't afford the ineptitude of dual command. The solution? A bafflingly impractical system of alternating command. One consul held the reins of power for a day, then handed them over to the other one the next day, creating a dizzying carousel of authority. Enter Aemilius Paulus, a battle-hardened veteran who knew firsthand the brutal efficiency of Carthage's mighty leader Hannibal Barca. Unlike his counterpart, Paulus was a cautious strategist, acutely aware of Rome's green recruits facing Hannibal's seasoned warriors. His plan? A defensive posture, avoiding open battle unless the odds were overwhelmingly in Rome's favor. Hannibal, however, had a trump card: his cavalry. The Carthaginian horsemen were armored and experienced soldiers, outnumbering the Romans 4-1. To neutralize this advantage, Paulus kept his army camped on the hills, which made Hannibal's cavalry largely irrelevant. Standing in stark contrast to Paulus was Terentius Varro, a senator with little military experience but a burning desire for glory. Frustrated by the cautious tactics of the previous dictator, Fabius Veruscosus, which had allowed Hannibal to ravage the countryside, Varro represented a faction clamoring for decisive action. While Paulus sought safety in the hills, Varro yearned for the open field, confident in Rome's numerical superiority. A dangerous game of cat and mouse ensued, with Hannibal growing impatient and Paulus steadfast in his defensive strategy. But Rome's alternating command structure would prove to be its undoing. Varro's ambition, fueled by political pressure, would soon override caution and lead to one of history's most catastrophic defeats. One day, with Paulus without his power, Varro seized the moment and moved the army to the plains, ready to attack. The Romans, lured from the safety of the hills, found themselves trapped on the vast open plain near the Ofanto River. There was no turning back. Hannibal's cavalry would cut off any retreat. The stage was set for a cataclysmic showdown, a battle where Hannibal's horsemen would hold the decisive advantage. And so, with a fatal mix of arrogance and desperation, the Romans marched into the jaws of disaster. The Roman war machine charged forward, a colossal blunt instrument aimed at the heart of Hannibal's army. Their plan was simple: overwhelm the enemy and envelop their flanks. But Hannibal had a surprise in store. Instead of placing his elite troops at the center, as it was customary, he deployed the fierce but undisciplined Gauls. The Romans plowed through these brave but inexperienced soldiers, but their momentum carried them deep into the Carthaginian formation, leaving them dangerously exposed to Hannibal's true power hidden in reserve. The Roman column, a relentless tidal wave, crashed into the Gaulish center. Just as planned, the enemy buckled, but the Roman flanks were crumbling. The cavalry, Rome's supposed strength, had fled in panic, leaving the infantry's sides exposed. Hannibal's horsemen, swift and deadly, swept aside the Roman skirmishers. With the Roman army now a vulnerable, inward-facing crescent, Hannibal unleashed his Hispanic infantry. The trap was sprung. This was a Roman army still finding its feet, a brute force compared to the finely tuned weapon it would later become. Trapped in their own momentum, they could only press forward, a desperate gamble to break through the Gaulish lines. But Hannibal had a cruel surprise in store. As the Roman column strained against the enemy's center, his armored cavalry, fresh from routing the Roman horsemen, swept around the Roman flanks, forming a deadly noose. Rome's elite warriors, positioned at the back of the column, made a desperate stand against the Carthaginian cavalry. To repel the onslaught, they formed a defensive wall of spears, halting the Roman advance. This desperate measure turned the Roman army into a human slaughterhouse, packed so tightly that most soldiers couldn't fight. Surrounded and outnumbered, they were doomed. In a matter of hours, 40,000 Roman lives were extinguished, a staggering loss. Ironically, Varro, the architect of the disaster, managed to survive and even rallied the remnants of the Roman army. But for Carthage, the victory came at a relatively small cost, primarily among their Gaulish allies. Cannae stands as a testament to Hannibal's military genius, a victory so decisive it's etched into the annals of history. Yet it was a blunder as much as a brilliant strategy. The battlefield itself, a vast open plain, was Hannibal's ally. Rome's decision to fight there, driven by a flawed command system and the overconfidence of a politician-turned-general, sealed their fate. It was a catastrophe of epic proportions, a day that would haunt forever the Roman Republic, and a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires can stumble when hubris and incompetence collide, a lesson that's never really been learned. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Was Rome's defeat inevitable? Let me know what you think in the comments downstairs. Don't forget to subscribe for more wild stories about the twists and turns of history. If you like what you saw, perhaps you might want to visit my Patreon page. I do want to thank my long-standing patrons Dan and Lawrence Neal for being my fans for years now. In the meantime, I do hope to see you next time. Bye.